completely embarrassed. Their defense picked off a couple of balls, blocks a kick, 3 times the Cowboys in the red zone with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb get no points. Micah Parsons is out. DeMarcus Lawrence is out. You're at home. It is perfect. The Cowboys are reeling. It's perfect. And the Pittsburgh offense, the 1977 Pittsburgh offense, engineered 97 yards, atrocious on third down, 4 yards of play against a Dallas team without their top 2 defenders. Pittsburgh's offensive line, shocker. It stinks for years. The only happy Steelers should be Russell Wilson because at least he'll eventually get to play. Pittsburgh's offense is the flip phone of the league. What do they do well? It looks outdated. It's incredible. Since Terry Bradshaw retired in 1983 until today, they've had 25 different quarterbacks. I counted last night. Maybe I'm off 1 or 2. 25. 1 has been exceptional. Big Ben. 1 of 25. Green Bay's like 3 for its last 3. So, this was not about the Cowboys' excellence. They handed the game to Pittsburgh. But Dak, a real pro, said for years he's the Kirk Cousins with a bigger brand, a star on the helmet. He's a pro, high EQ, high IQ. He doesn't have to play well in long stretches. He is stoic. He is unflappable. He can stink. He can argue with CeeDee Lamb for an hour. Jerry can be doing silly stuff. McCarthy can butcher play calling and clock management. But Dak will show up, grind it out, 15 plays, and you win the game. And I find with Pittsburgh, and you see this with a lot of businesses, their strengths are actually their weakness. Their strength is they're tough and physical. Their weakness is they rely on that too often. Tough and physical. How about smart, thoughtful, clever on offense? Once again, the Steelers lead the NFL in defensive spending in 2024. And once again, they're last in offensive spending. Sometimes I think they actually believe you could just rub dirt on it and it'll be better. That's the culture. Mike Tomlin's great at the podium, and he's got, trophies. But cultures change and move. That game was there. No Micah, no DeMarcus Lawrence, multiple picks, at home, block a kick. Cowboys kind of reeling. CeeDee Lamb and Dak got into an argument, and I don't know if it was intentional, but CeeDee Lamb was a non-factor in the second half. And Micah Parsons was out. And that's what you generated offensively. And by the way, Arthur Smith, the Steelers' offensive coordinator, he made Ryan Tannehill 4 or 5 years ago a Pro Bowler in the AFC. In the AFC. Made him a Pro Bowler. It's not the OC. It's the culture. It's drawing plays up in the dirt is what it looks like. That was embarrassing. Steelers' defense always does their job. Rarely embarrasses themselves. In a division now with a bunch of bad defenses, Pittsburgh's is always tough and reliable and physical. What a mess. And stop telling me Tomlin's never had a losing season. Raise your standards. Here's the coach after.
There's a fine line between drinking wine and squashing grapes in our business, and, that's an example of it. That ball's on the ground right there in the red area, and that's the difference. It was a hard-fought game tonight. But it's nothing mystical about the outcome. I just thought we didn't do enough over 60 minutes to position ourselves.
Listen, there are wins where you lose star players and they're like bad wins. And there are losses where you look up and you're like, we're better than we thought. That was an atrocious loss handed to you, and you wouldn't take it. 97 yards against that defense. Wow.
Yeah. So here, Colin, he's not giving anything to the Dallas Cowboys. I made a video and I already posted about an hour ago, depending on when you're watching this video, hours ago. And Cowboys fans are really unhappy because it seems like people are divided whether to praise the Dallas Cowboys for their big time win and Dak Prescott, or blame the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it's obvious that this game is more about the Pittsburgh Steelers not playing well. And again, credit to Dak, to leading that drive and making that play. That's why I said in my previous video about Dak Prescott, that Dak Prescott is consistently good. Consistently good. Sometimes great, sometimes awful, right? You know, the way I said it is that he has equal plays great and equal plays awful, but he's consistently good. And that's what just makes him only good. He is not a top quarterback in the NFL. And the Dallas Cowboys, like, it's just so funny that I heard some of these excuses. Someone was like, "Oh, he was missing his wide receiver too." And it's like, Dak Prescott is supposed to be one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL, and you're going to tell me that what he did was an amazing accomplishment because he was missing his second wide receiver? Like, are you out of your mind when you still have CD Lamb and a full offensive line? Like, what are you talking about? Like, the coping for the Dallas Cowboys fans are honestly, quite frankly, hilarious. You know, I mean, it really... It's just delusional at this point. I don't even know how to make sense of it anymore, because it's like, on one side, you tell me that the Dallas Cowboys going into this season are a Super Bowl team and that they're great and, you know, they win all these games. And it's like, okay, now you're like, well, we have no run game and, you know, we don't have good enough weapons for Dak. It's like, before the season started, you told me that this was a Super Bowl contender, right? And then you tell me Dak Prescott is a top quarterback in the NFL. That's why he's the highest paid quarterback. But then you say, well, what do you expect him to do? He has no run game and he has no, wide receiver too. And it's like, but you just told me that Dak Prescott's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Shouldn't he be able to overcome that then? Which is it? Like, it just, and then you want to bash other quarterbacks like Brock Purdy who are missing weapons, or Jalen Hurts who are missing weapons, and say, ha ha ha, he's bad, he can't win. And it's like, but then you defend Dak. So it's just, the bias is hilarious. And then you want to hurl the bias on someone else, and it just doesn't make sense. Honestly, it doesn't make sense. It's just kind of comically hilarious. If the Steelers played great offensively and Justin Fields actually seemed, more competent, and that offense was actually more competent, I would have been so much more impressed by this win by the Dallas Cowboys. I really would have been. But it was just so obvious. Again, the whole time Chris Collinsworth felt bad saying negative things about Justin Fields. He had to a few times because he's obviously still the commentator, but he was literally biting his tongue. He was just like, yeah, not a lot to say about that, because he just didn't want to keep piling on Justin Fields, right? Like, he just didn't want to. And similar thing with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott kept making such terrible throws and terrible decisions that Collinsworth was also like speechless. He was also dumbfounded. He was also just like, I don't know how you make that throw. Like, he was just he was just confused. And we all know that Collinsworth just loves to praise these guys, right? He praises like the simplest stuff, the way these guys tie their shoes. Does anyone tie their shoes better than Lamar Jackson? God, does he tie his shoes well? And you have Collinsworth just like didn't know what to say for both quarterbacks, right? This was just, as JCT Slice put it, both quarterbacks were taking opportunities to just play awful. They just kept trading. Like, okay, you play bad this drive, and then I'll play bad this drive. And it was just, that was my read on this game. And like I said in my previous video, like, if you're a Cowboys fan, man, you tell me that you want to win a Super Bowl. You tell me how great your team is. So then where are your standards? Like Colin just said about the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he just said, you never had a losing season. Like, where are your standards? Raise your standards. And that's what I then say to Dallas Cowboys fans. Like, you want to do a victory dance and go on, and you want to throw a parade for winning this game like it was this big, massive win. Like, that's what's insane to me. You can say, yeah, it was a hard-fought win, and happy we won. We were able to come away with a difficult victory. I can appreciate that. I really can. But it's the celebration. Like, this was just beating the Kansas City Chiefs in 22 or something. Like, that's what you guys celebrating like. You did the same thing with the Cleveland Browns. And I said the Cleveland Browns are not that good of a team. And you guys ripped me. And so that defense is amazing. It's elite. It's top in the NFL. This was a playoff team. Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. And now they're 1-4. Okay? They're 1-4. The Giants are not a good team. And you're like, well, they beat Seattle. Seattle has like 1,000 injuries. It's not even the same team right now. Okay? And then you beat the Steelers, who are clearly not that great of a team either. Offensively, they can't do anything. Okay? I already listed all the teams that they beat. They beat rookie Bo Nix. Congratulations. In his second start in his entire NFL career. You beat Kirk Cousins week 1 when he was clearly not really ready to play just yet. It took him weeks to finally get going. Right? And then you beat the Chargers, who are also decimated by injuries, and their starting quarterback, Justin Herbert, didn't even finish the third and fourth quarter. So let's not act like the Steelers are this top-tier juggernaut of a team. So it's just absurd. It's absurd that you guys can't say, I'm happy we won that game, but that was not a good game. Dak Prescott did not play good. I'm glad we won, but man, if we really have true aspirations to get to a Super Bowl, get to an NFC championship game for the first time in 30 years, we need to play better. Like Colin said, raise your expectations. That's what always makes me laugh about the Dallas Cowboys. That's why I have the reactions that I have, because you guys take a simple win like it was the greatest victory you've ever seen. And it's just like, it just doesn't make sense. And then it's so funny that you all want to come at me and say that I'm biased. For what? I've defended Dak Prescott. I said he's a really good quarterback. I wrote on my notes, he is consistently a good quarterback. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. You want me to say that Dak Prescott's a top 2 quarterback? Go watch. Who's better quarterback? Patrick Mahomes or Dak Prescott? Lamar Jackson or Dak Prescott? Joe Burrow or Dak Prescott? Jaden Daniels or Dak Prescott? I mean, it's just, I don't know what you want me to say, honestly. You can't look at that game. No unbiased fan could watch that game and say, that was a great game. Man, Dallas Cowboys came to play. They came to play. That was a hard-fought win. Because then someone said, oh, this is the thing about podcasts. Anyone can jump on one and they don't have an opinion. And I was watching, I reacted to the clip with Dan Orlovsky, who said the exact same thing that I said. Dan Orlovsky didn't play in the NFL. And then again, you guys want to make fun of Dan Orlovsky because he ran out of bounds. The dude played in the NFL for years and years and years. You guys want to keep acting like he has no idea what he's talking about. It's just funny to me. I can't wait because first things first. Nick Wright and all them and Wild, they're gonna act like that. Hopefully, Brew will probably give it a C game or a B game maybe, but like, there's just no way, right? I mean, it's just. Nick said it's not possible for them to win this game without an A game, and this was the perfect game for that to be disproven, right? Because that was like a C or a D game, and yet they were still won. And I even said on the First Things First clip, I said, why is Justin Fields not on Pumpkin Watch? Or is this Steelers team really as good as we think they are? I said, I think this defense is probably pretty good, but I don't know if it's a top 3 defense. I said probably maybe top 10-ish or so, because I said Mike Tomlin usually has pretty good defenses, but I don't know if it's as great as people are making it out to be. And I said, Justin Fields, it's not like he's been lighting the world on fire. Seems like that's exactly what happened. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the mega victory about the Dallas Cowboys? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.